This is the E-commerce Brain Trust, a podcast about building momentum online for established consumer brands. Join our hosts and their expert guests for high-level conversations about e-commerce strategies, trends, and innovations. Access our brain trust and boost your brand's e-commerce potential.
Welcome to the E-commerce Brain Trust podcast. I'm Julie Spear, Head of Retail Marketplace Services at Acadia, alongside my co-host, Jordan Ripley, Director of Retail Operations. And today we're back with another episode in our Category Disruptors series, spotlighting female CEOs and founders behind some of the fastest growing and most innovative brands in their respective categories. And joining us for this episode today, we have Erica Groussman, co-founder and CEO of TRUBRANDS, the company behind the popular and delicious TRUBAR, whose mission is to bring indulgent nutrition to the masses. With that, welcome, Erica. I'm thrilled to have you here.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful welcome.
Well, I have to say, this whole series, it's been connecting with the founder CEOs of brands that I personally love. And I do personally love the cookie dough. TRUBAR is among my favorites. So thank you for bringing sweet deliciousness to a little protein snack late in the day.
Thank you. I'm so glad.
As we've talked to several female founders as part of this series, one of the themes that we keep discovering is that usually there's some core to motivating the founding of your brand, whether it's fulfilling a market need that you see or just something that really charts the path for you founding the brand. You had a really diverse entrepreneurial background prior to starting TRUBAR, from real estate and finance to public relations. What was the particular moment or that factor that you saw that led you to transition into wellness and CPG?
I don't think that there was one particular path that led me there. I think that it was just, I've always been somewhat into fitness and nutrition, and I saw that there was something missing in the market. There wasn't this bar that tasted good, that made you feel good afterwards. I had to do something about it. All the bars, they either taste good and make you feel bad afterwards.
Guilty.
Yeah. Or they're just so hard. It's like terrible eating them. You're like, oh my gosh, I have to get through this. So I really wanted something that you couldn't wait to enjoy, but then you felt really good afterwards and you were happy and weren't like, oh my gosh, why did I do that? Like, oh, now I'm paying the price. So I think that there was just something missing in the market. And that's why I don't think there was one particular, but I think all of my learned jobs over the years and life conditions that brought me to where I am today to allow me to fight through this. It's not an easy place. There's a couple other bars on the market, just a couple. And I think that the grit and the strength and the yearn to keep going, I think that they all kind of played a role in it.
I'm curious, in the early days where you're like, okay, what is there in the category right now is not working for me, and therefore there's a clear need here. Were you co-making these sort of bars? Were you working with like a co-manufacturer from the start?
Yeah, I started with,
Okay.
I didn't really make it.
I wasn't sure if you were like
better story.
Yeah. So there's a need there. I was wondering if you were like wrapping up little bars in your kitchen and stuff, but clearly a more scalable way to start here. But with that in mind, I think what's so interesting about this series is like how core the product development aspect of this is, right? Like the product has to be solid, regardless of all the branding, packaging and stuff that goes into it and the story. And you have this niche of indulgent nutrition that you go back to. And I'm curious, with your role in the product development, how you bring that idea of indulgent nutrition to all the like concepts, flavor launches and things that you're bringing. Like, can you talk a little bit about that ethos of indulgent nutrition and how that actually translates to product launches?
Yeah. So I really come up with what desserts does everyone want to have?
Okay, sure.
Right? Like that's where you want to start. Like, what do I enjoy? Oh, okay. I love mint ice cream, right? Mint chocolate chip ice cream. Hence, I have a whole list that I'm working on right now because seasonally, what does everyone want? What do you want to curl up next to on a cold winter night? Or maybe even the flair. I'm in Miami Beach, so there's a lot of Latin flair. So like, what is the best, which happens to be one of my favorite desserts, a Latin dessert inspired. So that's something that I'm working on. So just really anything that is something that you can't enjoy every day because otherwise we'll all look 2-ton tillies. So it's something that you really want to enjoy. And this way you can have a piece of key lime pie every day if you want. You can have mint chocolate chip ice cream. That's what the bars really do taste like. A peanut butter and jelly sandwich. How many of us haven't had that since we were in second grade? I start with like a concept and I really choose something like the whole lot of macchiato. I had to do something at like a Starbucks that I wanted it to taste like. And once I had that, that's what I would compare it to. Almond Joy is my favorite candy bar. If you find me during Halloween, like my kids don't have any Almond Joys.
Yeah.
I wanted like an Almond Joy flavor mixed with like a Samoan, like a coconutty, drizzled with caramel. And that's what the flavor is. Like we just launched recently. Last week it launched on Amazon, the coconut flavor. So I really just would have those bars next to me while I was trying it and tasting it and trying to create it. So I really just start with a concept. What flavor? What do I want? What does everyone else want? Because what I want is probably what everyone else wants, right? And just kind of run down until the flavor hits. And once it does, then we go through the launch. But it really just starts with a piece of paper, which is on my wall.
Have you had any misfires? I'm curious, like we've talked about this with other founders, like anything that you've got, you're like, okay, this is a great concept, and you approach production, you're like, this is just not going to work at scale.
Yes, there's a couple bars that have not come to market yet because I just can't get them right.
Yeah.
I just finalized this flavor on Friday, which is part of our new launch. It is part of our kids collection because we have 3 flavors coming out. And I just could not get the last flavor. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I could not get it right. It just was like hitting weird notes or just like the flavor just wasn't coming through properly. And finally on Friday, it came through. So it was really exciting because we're literally going to go into production in like 3 weeks. So hopefully that still can all happen, but I had to perfect it before. Yeah, it's fun. Mishaps. So one that was a mishap is I was trying to get s'mores. Who doesn't want to have a s'mores? And it was really hard to get all the notes, the smoky marshmallow with burnt flavors and the chocolate melted. And I just couldn't get it. And I ended up creating something else that tastes way better that we'll probably bring in the next 6 months, which is a really good flavor.
Okay.
I haven't brought anything to market that hasn't been amazing.
That's good. That's good.
This conversation is definitely making me a little bit hungry.
Yeah.
So it's good. We're recording around lunchtime.
Chocolate.
40 experience.
But I don't know. I have a salad on the docket for lunch, but I got to chase it maybe with one of my bars. Kind of shifting from the product development, one of the other things that really stood out about me and your company is your commitment to prioritize women in the business world by ensuring you have women in positions of leadership and you speak directly to a foundation of pay equity across the board. Can you talk to me about why you chose this focus and how you are navigating speaking to that now as well?
Yeah, so I'm still staying true to those original thoughts and processes. I'm a mom, I have a daughter, and we have a little bit more of a challenge. Sorry to say it, but if a woman is direct or rude or obnoxious or short, she's a bitch. Whereas a man, it's like, oh, he's the man. He's powerful. Be frightened. I just try to pave the way to create more of a women of empowerment, that we lead charge, and anything that I do also, I always put a smile on. So I could be the meanest person. You're smiling. It's the best kept secret. I mean, I try to tell everyone, but like if we're smiling or crack a joke while we're being obnoxious and mean and direct and to the point and trying to get what we want, it's like, it's okay. It's acceptable. I don't know if you noticed that. But back to doing things we do things with the Lotus House, which is a female organization that takes battered women or women who've just been out on the street or had something hard for whatever reason with kids. And then we also hire, it's called Springboard, and they do all of our customer service. They're women who have worked in the workspace and then had children and wanted to be at-home moms. So they could be putting their kid down to sleep, they can be feeding them lunch, they take care of them all day long, but they're just doing some emails on the side. So it's an amazing organization that we utilize for all of our customer service. So if you are reaching out, talking about where your order is or what's going on with it, you're probably talking to a really nice stay-at-home mom.
I love that. I have a young daughter as well. And I think the need to speak directly to how to navigate the world as a strong woman, you do need to speak directly to it. And it's something that I've always been very intentional about with my daughter and finding opportunities to set the stage for that conversation, whether it's The Man by Taylor Swift and talking about what it means, or she does a program called Girls on the Run that speaks to that as well. So I hear you on all of that.
I love Girls on the Run. Actually, I need to reach out to them because we should do something with them. My daughter used to be in that when we were in Colorado. Yeah.
I coached it for many years, and my daughter we have the 5K this weekend. So we're
Are you going to be running also?
Yes.
with a bit of definition.
Yeah, it's on like forward movement is how they position it for Girls on the Run.
I like it.
Yeah.
That would be my style.
Yeah.
A little run, a little walk, a little skip.
Just taking in the moment.
That's right. Experiential.
Yeah, agreed.
Pivoting to a little bit more of like the really arc now that you've been in this for several years. TRUBRANDS was from 2019, is that right, Erica? So quite some time. And I mean, the last 6 years have been a roller coaster and a whirlwind, and whatever the combination of those two are. We've seen cheap CPG brands come and go during that time. Now you're at 50,000 retail stores, like you're a considerably larger, more scaled brand than you were at the start. I'm wondering two things. One, something you would highlight as like the largest challenge that you had to overcome during that period, as well as do you feel like there's been a we made it moment where it's like, okay, we've crossed this threshold, we can build on this sort of thing? Like, what does that founder's journey look like?
I've always had the we made it feeling.
Okay.
Even when it was like, we got into 30 stores at Whole, we made it.
Okay,
like, that's it.
Let's go. Yeah.
I really feel like you have to celebrate every single win. There's nothing too small. They all contribute to each other. Even if you're just sitting next to someone and they pull out a TRUBAR and they're eating it, like, oh my gosh, huge win. This person did not get it from me. So where did they get it from? Who are they telling? So that's how I look at it. Every single small win, big win, they were all huge wins. I totally feel like we made it. We made it tenfold now. I don't know if there's actual moment where I was like, there's so many. I don't even know which one to give you. I don't want to give you a bad one. So what example do I give you?
Yeah. Clearly the success compounding on itself is
it's amazing.
The ability to look for that is, I think, what gives the successful founders the perseverance to continue going. I imagine, like, even if you always felt like
a million challenges
I can build. Yeah.
You're going to ask me about the challenges. There was a bazillion, but we try to forget about those.
Okay. It's pushing them down.
It's like childbirth. You like forget.
It's like,
we do it again. That was awesome. There were so many challenges, and there's nothing that's going to be easy that's going to be worthwhile. So yeah, finances, ingredients, co-mans, packaging. I mean, we had issues along the way in every aspect, but if we didn't have those challenges, it wouldn't be as fun, right? I would say the most fun part about this whole entire thing is solving the problem. Mm-hmm. Something goes wrong. How are we fixing it? What do we got to do? What's our lineup? And I think that that's what makes it so much more rewarding when you do have those wins, when you are sitting there like, we did it, we made it, because like it wasn't easy. It wasn't like walking down the street, looking at the birds.
Are there any lessons from that, all the growth in this period of time that really stand out to you? Is there one lesson that really stands out? Like,
try to prepare, be positive. Don't dwell on the negativity of the issue. Just look for how's the solution. But try your best to prepare, even though you can't prepare for what you don't know. But just getting alignment and having redundancy. I learned really early that redundancy was ultra, ultra important.
From a supply chain perspective or a personnel perspective, or where have you like focused on those?
I was like all heads. So it was,
so no,
I didn't have any more of me, but that would have been amazing. And we will, right? With these AI robots.
Yeah.
But no, supply chain, just packaging, ingredients. Because if you can't get an ingredient, you can't do anything. Or you can't get your packaging in time, or your packaging comes wrong, or those kind of issues that are unsolvable. So just having backups.
I mean, it started in 2019, I imagine. A year later, the entire world was thrown into supply chain convulsions. So do you feel like you built those scars early on and now like the distribution, the sourcing, that sort of thing, it's like you're in a completely different place that can weather these storms, whether they be tariffs or what have you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like tariffs don't scare me at all, unfortunately. Yeah. I feel like everyone was so scared. I was like, listen, they're going to come down. We got to just power through it. It is what it is. And I looked at it as like Prime Day. Like you just got to go forward as hard as you can. And if you break even, you break even. You just got to power through it and get past it because that's where success comes afterward.
I'm hearing a clear thread of like perspective and the lens that you choose to see things through as being a foundation that you've built success upon.
I think that's my biggest strength.
It's coming through. I'm hearing.
Thanks for noticing.
Now, TRUBAR is, of course, in all these retail locations, and you've gone through all of the kind of channel diversification and that sort of thing. But I'm curious, our focus, Julie and mine at least, is e-commerce and marketplaces specifically. And I'm wondering what you've seen change in that space over the last 6 years, what sort of role e-commerce plays, or the role that you see it play right within the TRUBRAND portfolio, and maybe how that's changed over time in terms of your perspective on the e-com industry when it comes to CPG.
Yeah, so e-com's always been a big part of our ecosystem. We are on Amazon as well as on our direct-to-consumer. In the beginning days, direct-to-consumer was like a must, but it wasn't really a moneymaker. Shipping and all these things. So typically, I mean, ours is heavier. Some e-commerce, their items are lighter weight and it doesn't cost as much, but we don't profit that much off of a one-box order.
Sure,
it's more like just adding people to taste it, try it, have it, and continue. But now that we've grown, it is a little bit more profitable. So that's been helpful. People are typically ordering more than one box. Whereas in the beginning, it was more like a one-off. We're just trying to get them to try it. The cost of acquisition was higher. But now people are ordering 6 boxes, 12 boxes. They're obsessed and they want it in their house. So it's great. And then Amazon, of course, is just like, boom. We started about a year and a half ago, a little over a year and a half ago. And like our first month, we were doing 40,000 a month in sales. And we just cleared over 1.2 million in a month of sales. So it's incredible. That's a pinch me. I mean, we made it. What? It's absolutely super important to have direct to consumer and to have good ads and a good marketing team behind it and creating really good content to flow through there. But of course, everyone wants everything at their fingertips these days.
Yeah, starting out with D2C, even though it wasn't that profitable and maybe from a volume perspective, not incredibly meaningful relative to retail accounts over time. But how much of that, I'm curious, is just like a brand? This is an environment where you control the brand. E-com, a lot of times you can control the brand very granularly. Like how much does that play into your mind?
Yeah, that's like, super important. And the other part that's really interesting is important is if you launch a flavor, you can just throw it on your website.
Yeah.
In 1 minute and know what people are saying, how are they liking it, their reviews are coming back right away. You own that data. You have their emails. You know who they are. It helps create consumer profiles. It's absolutely important. And I think that's a vital part of anyone's business as soon as they launch.
We touched on this a little bit already with the kids bars, but to the extent that you can share, what are some of the exciting things that you have ahead this year for TRUBAR and any larger ambitions that might be on the docket?
Yeah. So this year, we do have other horizons. So we have other kind of products that we will launch, but not this year. This year, we're going to solely stay inside of the bar world, but of course, come out with more flavors. We did recently just launch 4 new flavors, and then we have the children's that are coming out with 3 new flavors. And those you will start to see in stores come September.
Good timing.
Yeah, super exciting. And then we hope to bring out some seasonal flavors around the end of the year and maybe some other spot ones depending on who wants to bring what in. But as far as other kind of product lines, there's nothing that is planned for this year. But I do have some stuff up my sleeve for next year or the year after.
We'll be watching, following along closely. I really appreciate your time today. It was great talking with you and learning a bit more about the history of TRUBAR, TRUBRANDS, and kind of an eye on what's coming next. So thank you for coming on and chatting with us today.
No, thank you. This was so much fun. I really appreciate it.